James Gunn being made co-CEO of the DC Universe could mean that the MCU family has a contender, and we could very well be looking at a new era of entertainment. If you thought the new Suicide Squad was good, hold on to your hats and watch as Gunn promises a lot more. In today's video, we'll be talking about how Hollywood reacted to the big announcement. Firstly, the big announcement. Hollywood had nothing but love for the genre-defying director and producer when it was revealed that he would be in charge of the DC Studio cinematic slate. Audiences have been speculating whether DC would create its shared world before Iron Man launched the Marvel Cinematic Universe. After the Avengers commercial success, DC decided it was finally time to introduce their universe, beginning with Man of Steel, with the release of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and a slew of movies that primarily undermined DC's attempt to compete with Marvel. What should have been a definite hit slowly turned into chaos. Soon after, James Gunn took over directing duties for the DC movie, The Suicide Squad, following a brief falling out with Disney and Marvel. The movie received excellent reviews from critics, and some rank it among the best DC movie ever made, despite the movie's failure at the box office. It received enough support for a sequel called Peacemaker, which received excellent reviews and opened the door for more work from Gunn at DC. Now he's been appointed as the new director of the renamed DC Studios. What had initially been a small idea developed into something way better. Moving on to people react to the news. Some applauded Gunn for having a creative vision and genuine affection for the characters, as shown by a celebration of C-list characters such as Groot, King Shark, and Peacemaker, and expressed their happiness with the choice. To handle the superhero business like Feige, DC needed a fan who was also a talented storyteller, and that's Gunn. Although some had expressed concern that Gunn's satirical and occasionally vulgar approach to superheroes may clash with squeaky clean icons like Superman and Wonder Woman. Keep in mind that when WB first approached Gunn, he had initially declined to produce a Superman remake, instead of having Gunn handle everything personally. This indicates that the director and Safran will assign the task to the appropriate creators. Some quickly advocated for DC Universe heroes to cross over with other characters, in light of Gunn's work on other fan favorites. There have been demands for more Harley Quinn films starring Margot Robbie, Glenn Powell as Green Lantern Hal Jordan, and of course, a version of Suicide Squad from original director David Ayer because of this change in leadership. Naturally, the news infuriated some people online, because neither Gunn nor Safran was Zack Snyder. Twitter once more burst with the hashtags #BringBackZackSnyder and #RestoreTheSnyderverse. People mention Henry Cavill's most recent comeback as Superman. They want him to reunite with Zack. However, none of the responses revealed as much wisdom as the one that identified the best outcome of Gunn leading the DC Universe. Jared Leto's portrayal of the Joker will most likely never happen again. What else could unite the fandom as well as that? Up next, what does this mean for DC? DC has had a troubled past with movies. Superman and Batman movies made up the majority of DC's film slate before 2013, but as the studio tried to venture outside of its comfort zone with movies like Catwoman and Green Lantern, their critical and box office disappointments scared studios away from attempting to adapt any other of their characters for a while. Man of Steel gave them the boost they needed to come out of their shell, but with constant criticism leveled at their lack of focus and hurried production, it was impossible to predict what was ahead. After Ray Fisher's fallout and DC's handling of Ezra Miller, the company found itself in trouble, leaving many to wonder if it was worth it. With James Gunn in command, viewers and fans can relax, knowing that a seasoned comic book film director is in charge. Gunn won over many fans with the Suicide Squad and won over DC Studios and Warner Brothers. Even though we don't know much about what they intend to do, we anticipate hearing many fantastic things in the works, such as the next Man of Steel sequel after seeing Henry Cavill's recent comeback in Black Adam. The future of DC Studios appears to be bright, even though it's currently uncertain if Gunn plans to collaborate with directors like Zack Snyder once more. More on what Gunn will bring to the DCEU. One of the advantages of DC's branch under Warner was that it had the opportunity for a wider variety of projects than the more cohesive MCU, maybe due to the absence of a centralized organization. Things like the kid-friendly Shazam and League of Super Pets to the R-rated Joker and Birds of Prey were all a part of the sprawling universe, so it has potential. Since his early days at Troma Productions, Gunn has consistently pushed the limits. He had no issues integrating explicit themes in the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. The fact that Gunn has been hired reassures that DC won't dumb down its work to compete with the MCU on being family-friendly. Gunn's work as a director has shown ingenuity and a sense of humor that can exceed expectations without appearing crude or inappropriate. His use of music in the Guardians of the Galaxy series, for instance, contributed to the introduction of a fresh aesthetic in superhero movies, and hugely impacted the creation of blockbuster movies. Having him in their roster of directors will be amazing for DC DC because he is one of the few filmmakers who can masterfully strike the mix between comedy and serious emotional elements that can serve as the model for a new kind of superhero movie. Let's talk more about how Gunn is only a co-head for DC. It is important to recognize Peter Safran's position as co-president of the new DC studios. Former lawyer and talent manager Safran is responsible for producing some of the best DCEU films, including Aquaman, Shazam, and their future sequels. In the previous DCEU, there were times when it seemed like Warner Bros. Business division was making too many creative choices to find Disney-like hits. Gunn will hopefully be able to concentrate on the creative side of things and keep DC's writers and directors away from immediate financial pressure with separate jobs for the creative and business sides of the company. The team will report to Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav, directly under the new division of Warner Bros., which will replace the old DC films. Gunn, who was working on post-production for Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, will now be exclusively associated with DC Universe as part of the 4-year agreement. Naturally, the announcement generated a lot of buzz, and many people backed Gunn's decision to transfer to DC. Next up, Henry Cavill hyped for Gunn's achievement. Henry Cavill, the unrivaled Superman from Man of Steel, is also eagerly anticipating James Gunn taking the helm of the reorganized DC studios. Man of Steel launched the DC Universe back in 2013, although the British actor reprised his Superman character in the films Justice League and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. He remained absent from the DC Universe until the finale of Black Adam, where he faces off against Dwayne Johnson. Spoiler alert, sorry. Cavill hinted at Superman's promising future in the DC Extended Universe when his cameo was made public. In an interview, he said he looked forward to what Gunn will make of the universe. Finally, how Gunn could fix Superman once and for all. Online rumors regarding a potential Man of Steel 2 have been rampant ever since Cavill returned to the DC Universe, but Gunn's new position as DC's head of publishing may provide a hint of what's in store. Zack Snyder steered the Kryptonian superhero in the first Man of Steel in a darker, more angst-filled direction that sometimes was criticized for abandoning Clark Kent's positive side from the comics. Gunn's management might solve this issue. With Gunn in charge, Cavill's Superman might finally accurately represent all of his comic book traits, as the director's work on the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker frequently demonstrated his ability to stay faithful to the books while updating characters for a contemporary audience. Of course, Cavill won't necessarily be appearing as Superman in Man of Steel 2 after Black Adam. Gunn's new job promises a more coordinated strategy for the DC Universe, so that Cavill might appear in several upcoming movies or TV shows. Cavill's Superman would benefit from this, because it would help him re-establish himself in the DC Universe after a 5-year sabbatical. Nevertheless, Superman fans will anticipate Cavill's DCU future wherever he makes his next appearance. That's a wrap for this video. Thanks for watching. What did you think of DC handing over control to James Gunn? And what project would you be most excited to see him direct? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks again, and we'll see ya in the next one.